Guys, my name's Jim Glenn. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. My wife and I, Ann, Glenn and I, are diamonds with this amazing company called ASEA, where we distribute and market this amazing technology called redox signaling molecules. And this is a very important session that we're going to have the next 4 nights. Every night on this same channel at 7 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And we've got 4 videos that we're going to play. First one's tonight. And we have the doctors live with us tonight. And we're going to have a little bit of a brief introduction by Lee Osler. This was kind of his brainchild. And let him kind of share his story real quick. Then we're going to play a preview video, 3 minutes. Then I'm going to immediately roll into about a 26-minute long video. And then after that, we're going to do a little bit of a discussion with the 3 doctors live. So with that, Dr. Osler, Lee, would you please share, why are we doing this? Why did you 3 do this?
Thanks, Jim. And it's great to be with Dr. Maureen Hayes and Dr. Bill Williams. We've got Texas and Georgia and Washington and Texas again, and people from all over the world are tuning in. And this is a momentous time. And the thing that spurred our interest in doing this was just what's going on. This is not a local event. This is a global event. And it has, with some immediacy and completeness, taken down a lot of people's livelihoods, a lot of people's health, obviously. And so we thought that being dentists and physicians, that it might be well to send a message. We call it a message of hope and health out to let people know that there are solutions. You know, I make a comment later that this is a tap on the shoulder, and I think we need to pay attention to it. And so I just appreciate the opportunity to convey a message and to share information with people, both from a science point of view, but also from an economic point of view. We're so affected and impacted by it. So that's really the brain thinking behind this as to why we wanted to do this.
Excellent. Thank you, Lee. Bill is not going to be able to be with us on the after part of this. Bill, is there anything you would like to add before we watch the preview video and then the video that y'all shot?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I've got to do a coaching call tonight for my group of dentists that I coach. So I'll say to the group that's listening tonight, try to find a gem, a pearl that you can use. This is downtime that you have in your life right now that you don't likely will never have again, this downtime. Make use of it. Try to figure out what will you do with this next 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, to make your future more secure. And that's what this is all about. Maureen,
thank you, Dr. Bill. Maureen, is there anything you want to add real quick?
I'd just like to say that we did this initially for our team and for the prospects, especially the people that we have that are healthcare providers who were shuttered. And we realized that lots of people are in the same boat. And so it was our idea to maybe share this. And Jim, you've made it possible for us to share it with everybody so that you can take these, and we'll talk a little bit about this after this first video. You can share these videos either individually or as a group to people who you think would benefit from them. And that's our gift to you. We think maybe we have a message of health and hope that will resonate with a lot of you. So,
absolutely. Thank you, Maureen. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play the video now.
The pulse of the nation is under study. They are checking the temperature of the economy. The question everyone is asking is, what do we do next? You're about to hear from 3 top docs as they explain the Redox Advantage. Dr. Maureen Hayes is a double board certified MD with specialties in anesthesiology, pain medicine, and anti-aging medicine. With over 25 years in medical practice, Dr. Hayes is now a full-time educator and is on the Medical Professionals Board of ASEA. 7 years ago, she made the decision to go full-time into sharing the ASIA story with those who could benefit from this breakthrough redox signaling technology. She is dedicated to teaching wellness success and has been a sought-after feature speaker. Currently, she holds the position of double diamond in ASIA and leads a large team of independent entrepreneurs from her base in Galveston, Texas. Dr. Lee Osler is a practicing dentist in Richland, Washington for over 35 years. He is a founder and past president of the American Academy of Oral Systemic Health and a noted author and educator of dentists and physicians across the globe. His advanced topics include laser dentistry, oral systemic connections, redox signaling, cosmetic and neuromuscular dentistry. Dr. Osler has been a clinical instructor at the Las Vegas Institute and was a featured speaker at the AOSH and at the Top Gun Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Directing the 5M Mastermind and Solstice Dental Advisors, Dr. Bill Williams practices comprehensive dentistry in Atlanta, Georgia. In his 45th year as a clinician, educator, and coach, Dr. Williams is the author of 2 best-selling books, Marketing the $1 Million Practice and The $10,000 a Day Dentist. On his podcast, The 10K a Day Dentist, he interviews experts on dentistry, medicine, and wellness. Dr. Williams leads mission trips to Africa, Central America, and Asia, most recently having served and lectured in Havana, Cuba, and with World Hope in Vietnam. And now stay tuned for the 4-part Redox Advantage series. Part 1 covers health and hope. Part 2 digs into the science of redox and breakthrough cellular health. Financial stability in a new world is the focus of Part 3. Finishing the series is What's Your Plan B? A look at what to do next to protect your future. Join the top docs of Redox. Get ready to meet the challenge. It's time to begin a new day, a new way of looking at wellness, wellness from outside in, and wellness from inside out.
Okay, guys, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and pop up the first video, so give me a minute, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Maureen Hayes from Galveston, Texas, and I'd like to take a moment now here with a few of my colleagues to share a message of help and hope for people in this trying times. We have found ourselves in a position that we never expected to be in. Things are totally different from what they were just a couple of weeks ago, and it's impacted each of us in a different way. And so we'd like to share our stories and maybe share something that would be of great help to you and the people that you care about. 7 years ago, I was introduced to a company and a product that I was interested in because of a personal reason. My husband, who is also a physician, had a health challenge, and we tried this product and had amazing results from it. And because of that, I decided that as a physician, my background is as an anesthesiologist and a pain specialist, but I was looking for something to help people have more optimal health. And after his experience and the experiences of a few people that we had shared it with, I decided to make it my mission to share this with as many people as I could, because people don't always put a value on their health until they lose it. But what we would like to show people is not only can you have better health, but you can have better financial health as well. And especially right now when people are grabbing at straws, this may be something that you would like to take a deeper look at. So joining me today are Dr. Lee Osler from Richland, Washington, and also Dr. Bill Williams from Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Lee is currently practicing, but he's been greatly impacted by what's happening in our economy right now. I'd like for Dr. Lee to come on, tell a little bit about his background, and share with you what is happening with him and why he is looking at this as maybe an answer to what is happening for him and his family. Dr. Lee, are you with us?
I sure am. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to be with two of some of my favorite people in the world. The situation here in Washington State, as many can imagine, is pretty grave, especially as it has affected healthcare professionals, both on the medical and the dental side. When this first started, the situation first started, we thought that, it was just going to be a small, minor blip and that we'd be back to work. And then as things rolled forward, we're now 2 to 3 months out before we'll be able to get back to work. At least that's the anticipation right now. So certainly dentistry has been greatly affected. And it's not just dentists, it's the hygienists, it's their teams, it's the families that depend on the practice and, having it move forward. So at the current moment in time, I realize this might date this presentation because hopefully things will change. There's some big paradigm shifts that are happening as we practice and as we think about our finances and the business side of healthcare. And we haven't seen the end of it. It's just starting. We just started yesterday or 2 days ago in a statewide lockdown for 2 weeks where all non-essential businesses are closed. And so this is going to be a ripple throughout, all of our society, not just dentistry, but it certainly brings pause, to what we're doing, and it shifts how we think about things.
I truly appreciate that. You have been involved with this company that we're talking about or alluding to for about 1.5 years now. And you also came on board because of a personal need. And if you wouldn't mind just saying a few lines about that, because you were not really expecting to have to look at this as a possible business, but because of where you find yourself now, it may be a good idea to have your plan B become your plan A, if you will. So if you wouldn't mind speaking to that, and also a little bit about your background with AOSH.
Many years ago, I became interested in what we call the oral systemic connection. It's the mouth-body connection, where disease in the mouth affects the body and vice versa. And long story short, as I got involved with them and became president of the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health, was on the board, ran the organization, was program chair for their scientific sessions, editor, put up the website. I was very integral in its founding. And it put me in connection with a lot of esteemed colleagues, as well as plugged me into the science. As a side story, and back to your question of how my attention was drawn to what we're talking about, it was a personal story. I wasn't looking for this. My wife's physician, due to some lingering health issues that she's had for many years, recommended that we look at redox signaling as an extra tool to help her with her health. We obtained some, and within very short time, within a couple days in her situation, it was like what I call flipping a switch. It changed dramatically, and it really got my attention. Shortly thereafter, at an AOSH meeting, I noticed that we'd had a joint meeting with the American College for the Advancement of Medicine, and the functional medicine physicians that were there were talking about gut health and leaky gut and redox biochemistry, and it gave me a chance to see the science up close and pointed me in a direction that now I understood why redox signaling was such an important part of just everyday health, cellular health, well-being, and anti-aging. And so it was at that point that I began to realize that there's a place for this, there's a demand for this. It's a very natural bioidentical supplement. And I started to see the connection with the oral systemic connection, where we could actually utilize this inside dentistry for oral health measures and surgeries and autoimmune disorders and things like that. And it just sucked me in. And then I began to realize that this is where the market is. We need this in our lives. We need this in our health strategy to guard us against the dangers that we're now seeing, for example. And it's all based on cellular health. And that'd be fun to talk about sometime, but it really goes down to the cell.
That's fantastic. And I think those of us who have been using the product and sharing it with others have seen some pretty interesting things when you actually help the body do its job better. I'd also like to have Dr. Bill Williams join us. Dr. Bill, you're in Atlanta, Georgia. You are close to retirement. You've had a very, very successful career, not only as a dentist, but also in teaching other dentists. You've written a number of best-selling books. You're also a member of AOSH. Can you come on? One of the things that you talk about quite a bit is having a side gig. And I know you're very big on teaching people about multiple streams of income, and you've joined us in sharing this information with other people. Can you come on and talk to us a little bit about that, about maybe making your side gig your main gig, and why it's so important to have a backup plan?
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Lee, for inviting me. You know, Lee Osler is a good friend of 30 years, and he's the one that actually told me about the redox connection to health and your old systemic connection. So I owe him a great debt of gratitude, because this has been a real boon to the health of our family, our extended family, not only as far as an economic win, but also a health win for many of the health problems that my family has been suffering from. So years ago, I came up with an idea of multiple streams of income based on working with Bob Proctor and some others. This is back in the 1990s, even late 89. And so I've always believed that a dentist is more than just a dentist, and they don't have to be chained to the chair with golden handcuffs. And I always believe that we're capable of doing more. And so I came up with some concepts that I taught dentists for the last 20, 30 years. One of them was decathlon dentistry, where a dentist can do all 10 disciplines of dentistry and extend his practice into areas that recession-proof their practice. And boy, do we need recession-proofing right now. Sometimes, though, we don't have the ability to go in the office and actually practice. We've been shut down, as we all know right now. This is a hands-off, stay-at-home time, and we can't deliver services to patients other than emergencies. And I don't think there's any dental practice that could actually stay afloat doing just emergencies right now. Not enough of that goes on to supply the needed income for all the staff that we have put in our employ. So there's a need for more. And so over the years, I wrote books on how to be more successful in dentistry. I always focused on having a side gig, not just in dentistry, but like dentists can teach, dentists can write, they can become authors, they can become insurance second opinion guys. You know, they can do things other than work at the chair. So I've always talked about side gigs. And in that same light, I've had businesses all over the world myself, where I've traveled to the former USSR. Right after it broke up, we went to Russia and Ukraine. We went to Kazakhstan. We went to Indonesia, went to Colombia, Costa Rica. So I've always looked for opportunities. And when I found things to do that were outside of dentistry, I plowed in and started doing them. And so I even wrote an article for Steve Parker's magazine, the magazine of the profitable dentist, called Finding a Way to Have a Side Gig or Two. That article kind of opened up the door to have a dentist think outside the box. And it's pretty appropriate timing, because it came out in December of 2019, right when we need a side gig to carry us through 2020. So maybe that's something we'll be touching on quite a bit today. And not only will you be able to look at the science and look at the reason the health is going to be benefited by this redox sealing, but also maybe the economics of your family.
Thank you so much for that. And that is such an important concept. I know when my husband became ill, things changed in a moment. And I always say to people, you just don't know. You're going along, everything looks like it's going great, and then bam, something changes. And we're seeing this magnified right now because like you guys were saying, that your businesses, your practices have literally been shuttered. 3 weeks ago, this would have been unthinkable. Mm-hmm. No one could have imagined something like this happening. And I've heard you say a number of times, Bill, that you're just one broken wrist away, one accident away from not being able to practice dentistry.
And now it's one cough away.
Exactly. One cough, one lack of a mask away. This doesn't just impact us as healthcare professionals. It impacts so many people who can't leave their homes. I know so many service workers right now, bartenders, waiters, waitresses, even real estate agents who can't go out, can't do their livelihood right now. And, as Lee, you said the other day, what do you do? What are you looking for? Do you go out and start mowing grass, for your neighbors so that you can pay your bills? That's a very, very scary place to find yourself in. And I always like to say, dig your well before you're thirsty. Now, in my case, when I was introduced to this company, I guess I should say, it was for a personal need, just like it was for Dr. Lee. But when I saw the potential of it, and I saw that I could actually magnify my gift of sharing this information, not just with the people in front of me, as I do as a doctor, but the people who are standing behind them too, and I could help them have a better quality of health and a better quality of life, I started making it my mission to share this with people. And just like bad news shares very, very quickly, or bad viruses, we need to have good news share just as quickly, and an opportunity to change your outcome. If you would both take a moment and just kind of talk about where you see this opportunity to have people have better health and a better quality of life. What does that mean to you right now, especially in the situation we find ourselves in?
I'll go first. And you made a comment about things changing. There's a famous, noteworthy futurist economist who made the statement. His name is Joel Barker. He says, when the paradigm shifts, everybody goes back to zero. And that's a really important concept. Your comment about 3 weeks ago, we never saw this coming. Who would have thought that the entire country would be shut down, that half the population would be like confined to their home? This was literally unthinkable. And as it was happening day by day, you just had to continue to shift your mindset that this really was happening. Going forward, could it happen again? I don't know. I'm not really in the business of making predictions, but we're still looking at the 2021 flu season. It's like, what's going to happen then? But for right now, for anybody that has a paradigm or a world view of how they should earn money, it's like, I don't know, do something. Back to Bill's comment of side gigs, whether it's selling real estate, insurance, authoring, getting into network marketing, doing day trading, shorting the market, whatever it takes. We need to have something other than what we're doing, because the reality is that we're facing bankruptcy on an individual, if not a more widespread basis. So my point in that is that the paradigm shifts, and those who are thinking, those who are aware, will not find themselves trapped in a mindset that says that would never happen, I would never do that, this is the wrong kind of thing. And they would stand back and be more open-minded and say, well, these other successful people are replacing their income. These other successful people who understand the science are utilizing this. There must be a reason why. Let me be open-minded and look into it. Because for me, both on the science side, why a cell works the way it does and what these bioidentical signaling molecules accomplish to help me heal and help me be able to prevent disease, that matters. But also my mind has expanded in the idea that there are other ways of earning income. And everybody has there's this 900-pound gorilla in the middle of the room that nobody wants to talk about. And it has to do with the idea of having a plan B, because after all, I'm a doctor, I make lots of money, or I whatever my profession is, I'm just fine. And it's like, what this has taught us, if there's lessons to be learned, what this has taught us is that none of us are bigger than this problem. None of us are bigger than the marketplace. None of us are bigger than somebody's stroke of a pen that controls my future in a way that I don't have control over. And so if I can begin to think outside the box and realize that the paradigm is shifted and that creates opportunities, people are now more open-minded. You want to, I've heard Bill use this comment before, you want to sell into the market. Where is this going? Why does this matter? And this kind of a product, this kind of an industry requires people telling stories, because you're not hearing this in advertising. It's like, why do they sell? Why are we selling this the way we sell it? There's a reason. There's a reason. It's a very important reason, and it starts right with the FDA.
I appreciate that, Lee. Thank you. Thank you for that. Dr. Bill, you want to talk about this? You want to talk about where we are with our retirements right now and hoping that the market's going to spring back, but
Those who are sitting on their nest egg waiting for it to hatch, some of their nest eggs got cracked this week. Some of those eggs ran out of the nest and might not come back. Now, some may come back, but you can't count on it. And so it behooves all of us to focus on what's really the future. What does it hold for us in terms of our health, our wealth, our income? And there's something else, too. I consult with a dentist all over the United States and actually around the world. And what they are telling me is that I don't know if I'll go back. Some of them are saying, I'm not sure if this is the time to cut and run and go to the next stage of my life. And so that's another group of dentists or physicians who are looking at giving it up because of lowered remuneration from insurance, lowered esteem from the public, although the public is holding physicians in high esteem right now. I think that it's really true that there's going to be a shortage of doctors coming up because people are going to be changing professions. And where are they going to go? What are they going to do? Because of the burnout, because of the madness that they experience daily and having to deal with the virus or deal with the complications of starting up a business that kind of died down. Some professionals are already retired. I've heard a lot of dentists who want to get back in the game, but they don't want to get back in the dental game. I know a lot of dentists that are 70, 80 years old who would like to have something to do and have something to focus their time on. You know, getting back in the game, I've realized, is a big part of why I keep going in dentistry at age 70. You know, I may never stop being a dentist, a practicing dentist, but if I chose to stop, I'd want something to do because I can't sit at home. This 2-week period already has shown me that I can't stay at home and just do nothing. And I think a lot of dentists around and a lot of professionals around the country are realizing that the end is not the glorified retirement of sitting at home watching TV. That's just the way it is. So our retirements are in jeopardy. Our state of mind's in jeopardy. And we need to have something to focus on, something that is a positive thing. So what better thing than this to me? And I looked at what Lee showed me, what you have talked about in depth. I looked at all the opportunities that are out there, and this one was superior to most of the ones that I've ever seen. A better a financial package, a better health package, and certainly the people in the group that we work with are top notch. And that was important to me.
I agree. And I love everything that you've said, you know, because here we are, you know, all three of us are, in that age group where we're looking at retirement or maybe transitioning. You know, I just turned 60 a few months ago. Lee, I think you're in your 60s as well. So, but this is not just a message for those of us who are older, who may be facing retirement, you know, in the next decade or so, but also for young people. Because, you know, if I had known this earlier on, I would have had a much different outcome, just having developed a residual income. And, you know, that wasn't my expectation when I first came across this 7 years ago. But I have a stable 6-figure income, and not everybody does that. Not everybody's looking for that, but I have a significant enough income from sharing this, from doing what I do naturally, which is help people have a better quality of health and better quality of life. That's what I always did as a physician. I'm just doing it in a different way. So when you speak, Bill, about people wanting to do something, stay busy, those of us who are in the healthcare profession or any service profession, what we want to do is help other people. And we have a way to continue to do that and to be paid well for our efforts and to be able to build this to as big a business as we want, whether it's just a few $100s a month to cover a car payment to something that is, you know, beyond comprehension. There are people making just amazing amounts of money in this industry. So, you know, I think of this as kind of a wake-up call, and I hope you guys agree. You know, hopefully we'll all make it through this somewhat unscathed. I think a lot of us are going to be hurt by this, but maybe have a little bit of time to rebound. But this is the time to really be thinking about these things that you guys have brought up, about having a plan B, about protecting your retirement, about having something that you can do that you love to do for the rest of your life, where you're having a real impact on other people's lives, other people's health, and maybe their financial health as well. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. I'd love to do more videos, maybe talking a little bit more about what we have our hands on and what we're so excited about the science behind it, because it's a little bit heavy, and about the financial opportunity that we have as well. So for those people out there who are watching this, if someone has sent you to this video or sent this video to you to watch, please get back to them to learn more about what we're talking about. But if you have been sent this video by me, Dr. Lee, or Dr. Bill, please get back to us personally, or go to redoxdentistry.com and register yourself there. We'll be putting out more videos, and we don't want you to miss any of this information. Dr. Lee, any final words?
The last word I think I have on this is that right now, at this moment that we're recording this, we're living in a little bit of a twilight zone. It's just surreal. It's hard to imagine that this could actually happen, and yet it is. And I think that going forward, while we all are very optimistic of, we'll get back to doing things the way it used to be, I'm not convinced at this point that it'll ever be the same, even when we're back into practice or back in our respective businesses. I can't even go get a haircut right now because everything is shut down. So again, this is not just healthcare, it's system-wide. And the twilight zone will lift and we'll get back somewhat to normal, but I don't think it's going to be the same. It's a new normal. And my pleading with people watching us here or thinking about this is to simply be open-minded. There are reasons why smart, sharp health professionals and business professionals are looking with new eyes as to what this business model is all about. This is the only way you can get around the rule of 72, which is a stock market thing of how frequently your money can double. We're seeing, even if you say, well, my stock market portfolio will come back, and yeah, it might, but I might not have time because there's not enough time in my life to see it double back into place. And so I have to think of a different method, a different way of leveraging my time, because I can go mow lawns and I can do things like that, but that's all horizontal income. It's still time dependent. I need to find leverage, and that's one of the things that this industry offers, is the ability to compound generational networking. That's the only way to do this, in my view. So I would just implore people to be open-minded, look at the science, let us help explain it to you, and we'd love to have people join our team and to help people restore their cellular health, because in the end, this is about protecting yourself. It's why we're doing this, is to help people be healthy.
Thank you, Lee.
And I'd like to add that there's a picture out there of hope and optimism that we want to promote as a group, a trio of entrepreneurs, and that's what we are. We see life as an entrepreneurial journey, not just a career or job that we have to go and tie ourselves to. We have the freedom to do what we want and travel. When the airlines open back up, we have the freedom to gather in different places when all this is over. And my picture of the future, and I want to plant that in your mind too, is if you're looking for something different, something better that's going to enhance your family's life from this point on, then give what we're doing a look, because it may be just the thing that will ease your mind about the future. The stress will be relieved and lifted, and you'll be able to do the things you've always dreamed of doing, even though these times are tough right now.
Perfect message. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on. Thank you for watching. Again, if you'd like more information, get back to the person who shared this with you, or go to redoxdentistry.com. Register there, and we'll send you the videos that we'll be making to explain a little bit more about what we have our hands on, and asking you to join our mission to help people have a better immune system, better overall health, and better financial health. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Dr. Maureen Hayes from Galveston, Texas, and I'd like to take a moment now here with a few of my colleagues to share a message of help and hope for people in these trying times.
Oops. That was a slip.
Yeah, just a little replay there. Yeah.
Guys, that was amazing. That was better than when I listened to it a couple of days ago. Maureen, do you have anything, or Lee, do you have anything that you, because I took a bunch of notes. You know, I don't know about people out there, but I'd highly recommend playing this again and again and listen to what I wrote down. I wrote down a page of notes. There were some absolute amazing things that you guys said there. But is there anything you want to add to this, Maureen or Lee?
Yeah, I'll chip in. The thing that people viewing this might be wondering is, where's the beef? Where's the, let's talk of the science. And we made this introductory video on purpose this way so that we could take the second video, which will be played tomorrow, which we'll talk about in a minute, to dive really deep into the science and to explain why this matters at this particular time. So I just want to, allay people's concerns about that, because that really is the core reason. If it weren't for that, this wouldn't even be a discussion. You have to have something that works, that's legitimate, that's sound, that's solid. And the breakthrough that made this even possible is something that, is for me, is kind of knocked my socks off. It caught me by surprise. And it was mainly because of my background in the last 10 years, studying oral science, that prepared me for knowing how to quickly dive into this and dissect the science side and find application in real life through cellular health and wellness.
Maureen?
I just have to laugh, because when we made this first video, and of course, we did all the videos back to back. So if you see me in the same outfit, it's not that I wore the same outfit for 4 days running. We just did them one after another. And this first one was supposed to actually be a little intro or a little teaser to kind of send out to people so that they want to learn more. But when you put three doctors, healthcare professionals on a video, we get chatty, So sorry about that. It's one of my dogs. So we had to have an intro to our intro. But like Lee said, he does a beautiful job of talking about some of the science, which can be a little heavy, but he breaks it down to make it so easy. And then the two to follow will be the economic and the plan B. So each one is made to stand alone. So hopefully you'll watch the whole series, but feel free to break them up. Once you see them, you're going to find people who need one more than another. So with that, I think we can end. We've got a big night tonight. So
excellent. Well, we will be making these available on Vimeo. I will be posting this video as soon as we're complete on ASEA United, and get back to the person that invited you to the call, and they will be able to get the video to you. If you do know these doctors, these amazing, along with Bill Williams, please get back to them and allow this to change your life. And I'm going to close with what I think you said, Lee. Are you open-minded? Are you willing to do some due diligence into this process? Because if you are, it'll change your life. So with that, we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night, same time, 7 o'clock Central Time, adjusted for your time zone. And we really, really appreciate your time. God bless. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.